Hello, I'm Aishwarya Saudhi. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So, in this series, we are going with the data structure concepts with practical demo as well. Um, you need not worry about competitive coding question, which is based on the data structure topic because we're also going to cover all this stuff. So, we'll move ahead.
In this video, we're going with the introduction with the data structure, then classification of the data structure, and we're going to see the array data structure. And one more thing, if you don't know what exactly the data structure is, or you are new to this field, so we don't worry. I'll be explaining with basic concept as well. So stay tuned and don't skip the part. Do watch till the end.
So, those who don't know about swapping and memory management in the operating system, so I'll be explaining shortly with this video. Okay, so in many ways, our memories makes us who we are, helping us remember our past, learn and retain that particular skill and plan for future. And for the computer, that often act as extension of ourselves. So memory plays much same role, whether it is to word a text file or instruction for opening that particular file. So everything in the computer is in the form of the bits or binary digits. Each of these is stored in the memory cell that can switch between two states, that is 0 and 1. And files and program consist of the millions of these bits. All are the processing in the central processing unit. So that is CPU. So that acts as a computer brain. So CPU is the processing lots of data. So it requires some short-term and long-term memory to store that particular bits for future use. So it's nothing but the memory of that particular computer. Now, all the programs should be present in the main memory for processing by CPU. Actually, main memory size is small as compared to the secondary memory. So it requires continuous swapping between main memory and secondary memory. If suppose CPU requires the process 1 for processing, but if process 2 is already present in the main memory, then CPU needs to swap out the process 2 first. That will create the new space for process 1, and then CPU needs to swap in the process 1. Now, you will ask me, where is the data structure here, right? So, to store program in the memory in efficient manner, we require the data structure. So that this process should be stored in efficient manner in the memory. Data structure is nothing but just like to structure the data in the memory. So you can see these two picture, that is the cookies filled with a jar and books arranged in the bookshelf. So we can assume that the this jar and this shelf are are the memory of the data structure, or are the memory of the computer. So it depends on the user how the user wants to fill the cookies in the jar and arrange the books in the shelf. So from this we can say that the data structure is nothing but just like the arrangement of the data, arrangement of the processes in the memory. Now, are you clear with the data structure? I think so, because I have explained with from basic to basic concept that no one tell you before starting the data structure. So now we'll move ahead with the classification of the data structure. So, as you can see here, the data structure is classified into two parts, that is linear and non-linear. Again, linear is divided into two parts, that is static and dynamic. The array is the example of the static linear data structure, and stack queue list means linked list are the example of the dynamic linear data structure. Graph and tree are the example of the non-linear data structure. So don't worry, we'll briefly explain all this stuff in further. So stay tuned. So first of all, we'll look on the linear data structure. So in this, the arrangement of the data is done linearly, where each element consists of the successor and predecessor, except the first and the last data element. Means we can easily understand by using the train section example, as the train having the multiple coaches or sections, all are connecting with each other. right? Means any numbers of means the passenger can move backward or forward from any other section except the first and last. The first section is also called as engine. So from engine we can also we can only move backward, and from the last section we can only move forwards. Okay, so in this way the linear data structure works. So linear is again divided into the two parts, that is static data structure and dynamic data structure. So a static data structure is an organization or collection of the data in the memory that is fixed in the size. So vice versa with the dynamic, that is dynamic is in the dynamic in the size. So means in a static, we need to define the size while declaring, but it's not the case in the dynamic. So we can increase as well as decrease the size when we needed. So as given in the pictures are the example of the static and dynamics. That is, this is the array data structure and this is the linked list data structure, which is the example of the static and dynamic respectively. And we'll define briefly in further slides. Now, you know what is the linear data structure, right? So, non-linear data structure, as the name suggests, it's nothing but it's opposite of the linear. Means it's not in the linear order. In this, the data elements are not arranged in continuous manner, like tree and graph. Now, coming to our main topic, that is array data structure. Now, as far we came to know that array is a linear data structure, means linear static data structure. So, are you clear with the linear, non-linear, static, and dynamic? I hope so. If you don't, please move backward this video and watch what is exactly linear data structure, non-linear data, or dynamic static data structure. I've explained with detail, so please go and watch that particular part from this video. Now let's begin with the array. So array is a data structure which stored same type of element. Now I'm considering you are aware of C and C++ programming language. So from the programming concept, array can only store element from integer data type or float or long, etc. Means we cannot store the first four element in the integer data type and last two element from the float data type. No, this is not possible because array stores the same data type elements. Like we can only store the in all elements in the integer type or all elements in the float type. Now, so it consists of the two concepts, that is elements and index. Okay, so elements is nothing but the value or item stored in the array. And index, we can say that it's each location of the element in the array has a numerical index which is used to identify that particular element. So here in the example we can see that this 2, 4, 10, 5, 15, 3 are the elements of the array, and 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are the array indexes. Means 0 represents or 0 index represents, that is 2 element is present at 0 location. 4 element is present at first location. In this way, basically there are two types of array, one dimensional and multidimensional. So one dimensional means it is in the form of the row as shown in the figure, and the multidimensional is nothing but the 2D or 3D, we can say that two-dimensional as well as three-dimensional and so on. So it is in the form of the matrix as shown in the figure. Now we'll look on the array representation. As a 1D array, that is one-dimensional array, requires only one subscript to define the size of the row or array. So it can be defined by using this syntax, that is data type followed by array name and with the size in the subscript, like integer marks in subscript 5 um, means we can only define the marks with only 5 numbers of elements. So we cannot insert or store the elements beyond 5, means 5 is the fixed size. Okay, So now initialization of single dimensional array. So to initialize, we just need to define the array first, and then we need to initialize in the curly braces, shown in this particular syntax, that is data type array name size in the subscript equal to, in curly braces, the values which you wanted to store in that particular array. So for example, we can also see that int mark, which having the means this particular array is having the size 3 and assigns the value as 99, 89 and 100. And actually this is also considered as the same, means both are the valid, because when we initialize the value to the array, then we may or may not initialize define a particular size, because compiler automatically takes the size of the array by using by counting this value assigned to that particular array. Okay. to to access the element, or to access the single dimensional array element, we need to call by using that particular array name with the index number in the subscript. Like if suppose I wanted to access the uh, element of the array marks with means having the index 0, so I can access by using like marks in subscript 0. Okay, so marks in subscript 0, or if suppose I wanted to access the first index element, so I'll access by using marks subscript 1. It also called as like marks of 0, marks of 1, marks of 2, and so on. Okay, so multi-dimensional array. So as I told that multi-dimensional array is nothing but the 2D and 3D and so on. So it's represent the matrix. So it requires the multiple sub. Okay, so as you can see that in this given syntax, that is data type, then array name followed by the multiple subscript as you required, 1, 2, 3, and so on. So so uh, from in the slide that given that the example of the two-dimensional and three-dimensional. So two-dimensional array is nothing but in two-dimensional, having the two subscript, that is 10 and 20. Means we can say that this array can make the matrix of 10 by 20. Okay, and this is three-dimensional, having the three subscript, that is 10, 20, and 30. Means it creates the 10 array with 20 by 30 matrix. Okay. Now, in coming videos, we'll cover more about the array data structure, then practical demo of the array, as well as we'll also going to cover some competitive coding which relates the array data structure. So, if you like my video, please do subscribe, click on the bell icon for more updates, and do share this video to your friends and family as well. So that can also means they can also learn in easy way. Thanks for watching.